Story.
Damn it, you stopped saying stuff. I've gone live now.
What? Yeah.
Sorry, we were just talking about random stuff. I was going to go live and everyone stopped talking without realising it. But hey, hello everybody. Well, we are live. It is, welcome to Megavision show number 79. It is April the 18th, 2021. I'm your host, Graham Cookson, and joining me this week, he's going to test your might in Mortal Kombat. It's my co-host, Scotty Moe. And he's going to hit the switch and turn up the heat, flash kick or punch with his feet. He won't break because he's a street fighter. It's Marcin Gulick.
That's not the right game.
So, okay. I genuinely was thinking I'll just use Mortal Kombat song lyrics for the opening thing. That song has no lyrics to it. Like, genuinely.
Be like Jax, Sonya. Yeah. It's Marcin Gulick. Okay, you could have done that too.
These are the lyrics. They've got test your might, test your might, test your might, test your might. Mortal Kombat. Fight. Yeah. Mortal Kombat. Excellent. Excellent. Kano. Liu Kang. Raiden. Johnny Cage. Scorpion. Sub-Zero. Sonya. Mortal Kombat. Oh, Mortal Kombat.
You're real close to trying to Google a techno song.
It's just like in my head, that song had so many more lyrics. I love the song still. Don't get me wrong. I love that song. It really gets you pumping. But yeah, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to go for the Street Fighter. That's close enough. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, they're the same thing, yeah? No? Okay.
All over.
No,
yep.
No.
You got it.
I have many people who are severe rivals of each other. One's a Street Fighter person, one's a Mortal Kombat person, one hates the other.
Well, someone should have told that to my parents when I was younger, because I asked for Mortal Kombat. I've asked for Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter for my birthday, and I got the opposite, because they're the same thing. They're both fighting games, yes?
I got Final Fight instead.
Oh, man. Got Eternal Champions. That'll be different.
Or Eternal Champion.
Anyway, we are back once again live on Twitch, so keep us company and fire up any questions you have in the chat, and we'll get to them as we go through the show. And we've got a great show for you tonight. As always, we'll be answering some of your burning questions. We have our usual Sega gaming, movie, banter, general geekiness going on. And we have our feature discussion, which, as you might have guessed by our title this week and the intro, it's all about Mortal Kombat. So the games, the movies, I don't know, anything. So if you've got any Mortal Kombat memories or questions, fire them off in the chat and we'll get to them later on in the show. So for now, strap in for the ride that is this week's Megavision show.
I love transitions.
Nice. As always, we're going to kick off our show with what we've been up to, the week's happenings, as it were. So, Scotty, my friend, what's up? Tell us. How's it going?
Yeah. I picked up the first half of the vaccines.
That's a good pickup.
Yep, one step closer to something. And I played Croc on Thursday and realized again that I did not transfer my save over like I should have. So I was starting to replay another section, and I started fed up, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'll play this off stream to get myself caught up. Let's switch over to something. And I played Sonic 3D Blast, and I realized that's like a soul food game for me, I guess. And played a decent amount of that. People were digging it. I literally, the next day, I ordered lithium batteries for my Saturn because I'm tired of this nonsense. For those that don't know what I'm talking about or complaining about is literally, if I go over here and I grab my Saturn, all you retroheads are going to know what I'm about to show you. Mm-hmm. But, you got your Saturn here, and then you turn this sucker around and you open up this little latch, and you can't really see it, but the battery's in there. Mm-hmm. And that's a watch battery or a lithium battery in there. It's really easy to swap out, but you got to do it like every 5 years if you don't want to lose your internal saves. But if you're cool, you got a memory card, so you can save them on there. But if your game's really awesome, it automatically tries to save to the console and doesn't even acknowledge that you have a memory card in it. So so I can save my progress. Like if I at the end of the stream, if I reset, go to the BIOS whatever menu, and then I can transfer it over, but I shouldn't have to do that or remember to do that every time. So I already fucked up. So, you know,
you got to get them CR 2032 batteries, my son.
They're on their way. Pack of 12 is on its way. For like $10 on Amazon. Hit it up. Yeah,
it's great. It's like buying one of those on its own is like over here. It's like £5, but buying a pack of 12 is like £6. It's like, come on.
Yep. Yeah, we went. Rachel and I went to this random flea market we learned of. This was a year or so before the pandemic, honestly, which takes place in a gutted movie theater. Ooh. And so it honestly reminded me of like with the faded red walls and stuff inside. It reminded me of like the marketplaces in Shenmue 2 that are like in buildings, you know? So I found comfort in that, even though it was really like just so white trash. But definitely went into a room that was just filled with off-brand crap, like things in different languages that I'd never seen before. And so there was a pack of like lithium batteries. I'm like, oh, these are $2 for 11 of these. That doesn't make sense, but I'm going to grab them. And they were not even the right size because I just like saw them out of, whatever. So I'll never forget that it's a 2032 that you do need for I think for the VMUs as well in the, for the Dreamcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the same batteries. Yeah.
Okay. Huh?
I was about to say, but the VMU battery, the batteries last like a day in the VMUs. It's so annoying. It's like, well, I'd say a day. It's really short time. Whereas in the Saturn it lasts years.
And it's not as crucial because you don't lose your save if the battery dies.
Yeah, and that's just so you can use it out of the Dreamcast units. That's the only reason you use that battery.
Your time just gets reset every time. That's all.
Yeah, I forget why I'd need it, but you can also replace the battery in the Dreamcast, but that's a lot more difficult because I think you actually have to do like soldering or something. To
I haven't done it yet because I actually looked at that and I was like, oh, this looks way more complicated. But the Saturn is literally like, take it out. Maybe use tweezers if you need to, but you take it out, then you pop the next one in. Oh, because when I got the satiator, the thing that I plug into the back of my Saturn so I can play off an SD card, you have to have a fresh, you have to have a working battery in your Saturn to be able to use it. Okay. But it's interesting you're talking about memory cards. Actually, no, wait. I'm going to let you finish your section because I've got something briefly to say about that. So apologies. I don't want to step on your toes. But
no, you're fine. That's okay. I'll try to go through some stuff quick here. I also I played a little bit more of the Blizzard Arcade Collection because, again, this is like the perfect collection. But they already had Rock and Roll Racing, Lost Vikings 1, and Blackthorn. I've been playing Blackthorn, and then they're like, oh, hey, by the way, free random update. You get RPM Racing now and Lost Vikings 2. And I'm like, I just bought... That's the first like boxed SNES game I own is RPM Racing because I learned of it from your little documentary. It doesn't benefit anyone that I bought this thing, but it's like sitting on... I think it's just out of frame, but it's not a good game. It's definitely like... It's good that this exists because Rock and Roll Racing is awesome, but there's like no announcers. There's not really when I was playing it, I said to Rachel, I'm like, this looks like someone tried to make a bumper car game using the PS1 version of Theme Park or something.
Okay.
It's not,
right.
I love the PS1 version of Theme Park. That was my jam. And Theme Hospital.
Yeah, I did play that a lot, but that's like the grass reminded me and like how the track looks. It really looked, I don't know. That's what popped into my head, but it's just so cool. There's no definitive editions on those or whatever, but it's just so cool that like just they didn't need to. I think they updated some of the documentary stuff too, but like 2 more games are in that thing. I guess Lost Vikings 2 is one of the harder games to find for the SNES because it was one of the last games for the SNES or something.
Oh wow.
So it's really neat that is on there now.
I've got a feeling that was released on the Sega Saturn as well. Lost Vikings 2. So I wonder if they would consider doing both versions on the collection.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, I'll quickly Google that while you're speaking.
Yeah, go for it. But I did a recent pickup. Holy crap, Scotty's buying new games now. Fangamer did a physical release of Later Alligator on Switch. Adorable artwork. It's kind of a point-and-click mystery game that has... Oh boy. If anyone in the chat, or if you guys, do you remember the show on Comedy Central called Dr. Katz?
No,
That's okay.
I don't.
That was like one of H. John Benjamin's first roles in anything. But the animation in Dr. Katz was kind of shaky, like looked like it was made on a computer. All right, Sailor Corellia knows. But like the animation style, so does Happy Dude. This reminds me of it a little bit. But it's a very cartoony looking alligator. It takes place in Alligator, New York City, so there's puns galore everywhere. But it's a fun little cute adventure game. And yeah, that was out on Fangamer, so I thought I would like to play that. And let's see here. A follow-up from last week with the demo discs, or whenever we mentioned them, I should have literally opened up this Spyro and Crash bundle, because if you open it up, that's what it looks like. It's a freaking pop-up display of Spyro, and then the next one is of Crash, and it's cool. These are never going to exist again. This thing, like this ridiculous diorama for a demo disc in this cardboard sleeve. So it's just that's really cool. Nuts.
Have you played Crash Bash before?
No, I have not at all. Isn't that just a mini game like Mario Party?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they were jumping on the popularity of Mario Party, but honestly, as a party game by itself, I thought it was very good.
Cool.
But I think it's expensive now if you want to buy it.
Probably. Why not? And then for the serious pickups, I shared with Graham I was going to Warp Zone, our sponsor of the Dreamcast Marathon, because someone traded in a bunch of Saturn games. And I was like, yeah. So needless to say, they were mostly gone. If I had not asked Carrie to throw aside one for me, it would not have been there. And literally while I was there, someone asked about it as well, because he brought it out like from the back that it had been on hold for me. I'll get to that one in a second. So someone traded in a bunch of stuff. One of them was the game Revolution X. Have you guys played that? I mean, surely if you, I guarantee you, everyone watching this, everyone listening, both of you, like probably have seen it in an arcade and not realized what it was because it was everywhere. But that is an on-rail shooter, starring Aerosmith. And it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
And I don't remember why, but I like showed a trailer to Rachel, and it didn't have the band in there at all. And so I was like, all right, we got to find some gameplay. I didn't tell her that Aerosmith was in it yet. I was like, we got to find some gameplay. I got to show you what this is. And then the first scene is like Steven Tyler talking to them, and then he throws you the keys or whatever, and your fake hand catches them. And she just turns to me and she's like, oh, honey, you have to buy this game at Warp Zone. So, I'm like, it's not good. It's not. And I told her how I remembered in the Midway documentary when they had Aerosmith in the booth doing voiceovers that, they're feeding them lines, and Joe Perry was in there, and the one of the devs was saying like, okay, now say, way to go, or you did it, or like, we're almost there. And then the dev says to him, okay, now say rockin'. And Joe Perry's like, I'm not going to say that. Like, it was very obviously someone that had not ever like been amongst the rock scene asking a fucking rock star to say rockin'. That's not just a term that gets thrown around when you're in the studio or like on stage, like, yeah, this is rockin', dude. You know?
Yeah, that'd be super cringy. Oh my God.
In my head, I thought it was rock and roll. Like rock and roll, they wanted him to say. Is that
it might have been that.
No one said I mean, either way, no one says rock and roll or rockin'.
Yeah. But either way, it's not like I remember.
Maybe if you told him to say like fuck or something, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's like as cool as throwing in like the singer in the middle of a breakdown just says like let's rock or something. Like you don't say that. It's not, I don't know. But anyway, so of the things there, I thought to myself like, okay, I'm still dabbling with the idea of doing a Saturn marathon. It'd be cool to have like a giveaway for that. So I was like, I saw they had Daytona Championship Edition, that was already gone, but they did have still the Japanese version of Daytona USA. So I'm like, whatever, I'll get it. And then I was wrestling with it for a while due to the price, but I looked it up and it was reasonable. So I also grabbed the first Bug.
Oh, yes. I love that. I still love that game. I think it's a great game.
It's a good platformer, especially for a launch title. I think it did a good job of showing what the Saturn is capable of. And then the reason that I went there, the thing that I had on hold that literally Carrie pulled it out, set it down, and I traded in some stuff. And he's like, you got this much. And then while I'm looking at other stuff, another dude came and asking about those Saturn games that he posted about. And he's like, oh, is Road Rash there? Can I get that one? And Carrie's like, actually, it's on hold for him. I'm like, sorry. So I fucking picked up Road Rash on the Saturn.
Nice.
Like one of the few versions of Road Rash I don't own, so I'm very excited that I got this.
Have you played it
break the bank?
I've not played this version of it. And what's cool is it's got the manual, but it's also got one of those silly fold-out things.
Oh yeah,
it's like it has a yin yang on the one side, but it's got like ads for. I can't read it's backwards, but it's got a bunch of ads in there. And then if I turn it over, there's more ads, and one of them is for Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Mortal Kombat 2. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I see. And Revolution X as well.
And
Next to it.
You know it. You know it. Yeah, D was still... D was not... Or I think D was already gone. He also had Alien Trilogy there, and that was going for $100. And I don't know... I didn't know that thing's worth anything. And I think in my head, I know how I can mess up your memory card and like mess up your internal save. So to me, it makes it worth less, arguably. Since it can actually mess up your console, or not your console, but you know.
Yeah.
Alien Trilogy has this thing where it can actually just wipe your saves, and that's happened to me before.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's all versions. I know it's the US version does. Okay. I'll probably be playing that eventually for 426, which is I guess Alien Day. So with all of that in mind, all those things I grabbed, I have decided that, I guess we'll do a soft announcement here now. Let me see what the date is actually going to be. May 15th, I'm going to do a Saturn 12-hour marathon and give away the Japanese Daytona and the copy of Bug to somebody. Maybe separately, maybe together. We'll see. But it's celebrating Saturn Day, which was another day in May that I already forgot. If anybody wants to Google that, go for it. But you could win these games for the Saturn.
That's exciting.
I think that'll be fun. And 12 hours is nothing compared to the Dreamcast 24-hour marathon. So
nice one.
That'll also be the weekend after my second COVID shot, so we'll kind of play it by ear. But I didn't
see live how you're reacting.
Yeah, I didn't feel. I was just kind of tired and had a headache after the first one, so I'm not. I know the second one is way worse, but I'm not. I don't know. I don't really get sick, and when I do, I don't get that sick unless it's allergies. So I'm not super concerned.
Yeah.
The going to Warp Zone and seeing all those Saturn games, seeing them traded in. There was still another game there that was $400 or whatever, or blah blah blah, and it was just insane what was there. I think it was Ray Earth, Magic, Shining
Magic Knight Ray Earth. Yes.
Yep.
I actually do own that. I own the American version of that. I've got picked up a few years ago, and it wasn't that expensive. Wow.
Well, there's variants of the disc color. Something Carrie brought up to me. He's like, because I like the Japanese liners, but then the discs look so it literally looks like this copy of Daytona is a CDR that someone just burned because it's so kind of plain and just blocky. No, he was telling me and that other kid who was in asking about the Saturn stuff, like when this guy brought in stuff, Carrie, for those that don't know, Warp Zone is basically a shed, not a shed, it's another building in his backyard, so it's on his property, so it makes owning a business a lot easier running it there. But so he was telling us, like, when this person brought in all these Saturn games, he had to run over to his house and say to his wife, like, we got to dip into the cookie jar because I'm not letting these pass us up. And he said that the guy, I'm going to look it up real quick to get I shared it to, let me find it here. I'll just read off some of the Saturn games that were in the.
I could share it on my screen if we really want to do that. If you can drop it in the Discord chat, I can grab it and.
Yeah, welcome back to Scotty's retro hijacking of the podcast. So some of the games in there. Let's see the ones faced out here. Dragon Force, someone traded in, and Herc's Adventure is also a big one, I guess, for some reason. But yeah, there's like the ones that he had facing out, Shining in the Holy Ark.
Sorry, I'm still bringing up the image. Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm telling people they can hear me and then eventually listen. Don't worry, they'll handle it. They'll be fine. Another one that was still there was Enemy Zero. That goes for a pretty penny, but there's like Alien Trilogy, Bug, Enemy Zero, Daytona Championship, The Legend of Oasis, NBA Jam, something or other, NBA Live 98, All Stars Hockey, Mortal Kombat 3, Revolution X with the Case, Road Rash, SimCity 2000, Street Fighter, the game, the movie, the game, Virtua Fighter 2, Virtual On, and then a WrestleMania game. Lots of good stuff. And there were the image
so people can actually see some of this stuff. Sorry, there we go. Yeah.
Just a crazy amount, and all those, everything I just said were all cases and manuals. Everything in really good condition. So
good.
I was like, can you? I've kind of been casually looking for Road Rash, so I asked how much they wanted for it and if you could throw it aside. But it's so nutty to me. But so anyway, like when I went in there though yesterday, this was Friday that he posted this picture. I went in yesterday on Saturday, and literally the only thing that was left was what is that bottom one? God, I can't read.
Shining Wisdom or Shining?
Yeah, literally the only thing that was left was Shining Wisdom, Bug, Alien Trilogy, Enemy Zero, and I think that was honestly it.
Dude.
So I was bummed. I wanted to get the Daytona game for the marathon, and I was leaning towards or I was going to get the Aerosmith game, but I did find someone did trade in just the disc. So since Rachel sparked interest in that, I was like, I'll grab that too.
Do you know how much Enemy Zero and Shining Wisdom were?
Well over $200 each.
Oh, okay. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Enemy Zero, I think, was one of the last American Saturn games, and it's funny because I think D and Enemy Zero are in the same universe, aren't they?
They are. They're the same title. The main character in it is actually the same character, even though they're set, one set in the future, one set not in the future. But yeah, it's part of the same universe, as it were. Although the storylines aren't related in any way, but they're same. Anyway, yeah, you're correct. Yes. But Shining Wisdom is one of those games that I actually love, and I always tell people to play because it's a bit like a Zelda kind of game, but no one knows about it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I love Enemy Zero because it's the scariest game I've ever played. Even though it's probably
I haven't
crap
sat
now.
down with it yet. Yeah, maybe.
And I have briefly played Herc's Adventures on an emulator, and I was like, this is kind of a cool game, but I don't think it was released over here. And I'd like to actually play it and buy it. But wow, yeah. I don't know if people can see on the picture, but yeah, Dragon Force is $399.99, and then Herc's Adventures $349.99. Woof.
Yeah, so and Carrie was not ashamed to say like this guy walked away with $5,000 from all these games traded in.
What? 5,000?
Dude, a couple of these are worth multiple hundreds of dollars. You just saw two games there that are almost $800 to just the two of them.
But like, okay, I can imagine like $1,000 to $2,000 for all of those, but 5,000.
I think he had some other stuff too, but there was also I know you stopped sharing it, but there was a bunch of Genesis stuff with cases as well. He traded in Dinosaurs for Hire, and I only have the cartridge, and I didn't think someone would buy Dinosaurs for Hire before I got there the next day, but they did. So I still have just the cartridge. Kind of bummed about that, but not super bummed. But
okay.
You know.
Oh, is that in the other pictures in that post? Or?
Yeah, with like Maximum Carnage and Booger Man. The PAL favorite Booger Man. And I've been reading that Resident Evil book, and someone traded in also Resident Evil Survivor. I think all of these were part of a big trade, so it wasn't just the Saturn games, but Resident Evil Survivor, he was selling for $100. That is a bad game, and I think it's a low print game. I have it, so I'm happy about that. It's a bad, like, on-rail shooter that wasn't an on-rail shooter. It was just a first-person shooter in the US and stuff, so...
I think that was released over here as well.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
You guys might have actually GunCon compatibility with your version, but not the American version. It's bad.
Okay.
It's literally, you cannot save until you die in the game. It's a bad game.
Wow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we had guns. I think my friend at school had it, and he loved it. But I remember playing it once again. I don't think this is that good, but well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Cool. Oh, I see dinosaurs are higher now. I can actually see it.
Video games.
Cool. There we go. Nice.
I had nothing until that Gator game showed up in the mail, and I went to Warp Zone yesterday. Don't worry, I'll always be spending money because I'm a psychopath.
Man, cool. Well. Marcin, what about you? What have you been up to, my friend?
Oh, absolutely nothing. I did this past week. It was just basically Doom Patrol, and then we were like, you know what? Let's rewatch the Shrek movies. So that's what we did this week. And my pickups, some groceries, some mayo, and some canned soup. So
nice.
I'll try to keep my section really short.
So wait, when you said you watched the Shrek movies, did you watch all of them or just like the first couple?
Oh, the first two. Yeah, the first two. I was thinking about doing the next ones, but maybe when I'm a little more drunk.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I was going to ask if these were non-ironic choices.
The first two were unironic. Yeah, I actually do like those movies, yes. Ooh. I think a lot of people like those movies.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no shame of watching Shrek.
I think more reason three, yeah.
Yeah, I'm controversial. I didn't like Shrek 2 that much, but I enjoyed Shrek 3. So
I thought the first one was better than the second one for sure, but I enjoyed the second one.
Yeah. Oh, and controversially, did anyone like did anyone see or like the cat one? I can't remember what it's called now. Puss in Boots or whatever.
Puss in Boots, yeah. It's a dirty word. Yeah, I've seen it, but I don't remember it, so I can't really give an opinion.
Personally, I thought it was better than the Shrek movies. Like, I watched it, I saw it in the cinema with some friends. I was thinking, I'll go and see it. Like, I don't love Shrek, I think it's fine. And I saw it, I was like, that was great. Like, that was such a good movie. But,
yeah, I got to rewatch it. So I'm kind of glad that I don't remember any of it because I do remember seeing it once. So it'll be a whole new experience because it's been 10 years. It came out 10 years ago. People, we're old, but yeah.
Cool. And ever since you're being so short, would you like to share with everybody what your grocery pickups were this week?
Yeah, I'd have to go upstairs and dig in the cabinet. It'll just be awkward and quiet. So, not really.
Okay, you dropped a couple in the outline there, so I thought you wanted to brag about them.
Yeah, I was gonna bring them up. No, I was just gonna give a vague description about my groceries this week. So
fair enough. Okay, that's cool. So from my side, I was thinking just before the show, what have I done this week? And I thought nothing. And then literally, not even joking, as the show was starting, I was like, oh, I've done tons of stuff this week, sort of. So vague stuff. So just, in the UK, lockdown has kind of lifted a little bit. More shops are opening. People can actually go and see other people, but you have to be outside, in their gardens. So I actually went to see people in the face yesterday. I went to a friend's house and I thought we were going to have a barbecue, but we ended up just having dinner outside next to a fire pit that he created. And he'd actually created his own massive table and bench. It was like a picnic bench, but super big. You could probably fit about 12 people around this, and he built it all himself. Like a banquet
table?
Yeah, basically.
A feast?
But he'd made it himself. He not just bought a flat pack. He'd literally got the wood, cut it, stained it, got some massive bolts and put it all together. And so it was really impressive. And he'd done this thing where he'd aged it. So he'd burnt parts of it and chipped bits out of it and stuff. And it looked really sweet. So good on him. Well
People
done.
have time on their hands, if there's that much to
exactly.
Why not stain and build a table?
Yeah. So Scotty was talking about his Sega Saturn and his memory card and stuff, his memory card things. So one of my Saturns I've got, which I put the satiator in, I think it's basically a dead Saturn almost, but the satiator works in it. So it does power on, it does work, but the disk drive doesn't work. So I was like, oh, thank God I got the satiator thing so I can play games off the SD card. And I think the memory card slot's not working anymore because I've tried out 2 of my memory cards. And either those memory cards are just completely dead or the actual Saturn doesn't work. So
I've definitely had issues with my memory card slot, I think, because I've had a 4 meg or whatever thing. That also gives you an idea of who this collector was, because he totally traded in a Japanese 4 meg card along with Street Fighter on the Saturn. But no, I've had the American one for a while, that memory card, and then I got the Action Replay recently to play imports and stuff. And I have had issues where it wouldn't go to the action replay menu is supposed to load before the game itself does, it just wouldn't happen sometimes. So I wonder if maybe that input is a little finicky.
Okay, yeah, that could be the case. But I think I've got another Saturn at my parents' house still, which might still work, which was my brother's.
I wish I had a second Saturn. Holy crap. They're not going down in price, people.
Yeah, it was my brother's, and I'm pretty sure he never got rid of it or didn't take it with him when he moved away. So I'm pretty sure I saw it knocking around there. So hopefully I can see if this one works. But yeah. And what else? So yeah, I played a bit more of Balan Wonderworld, and I'm still actually digging this game. I think, as I said before, the more I play this game, the more I enjoy it, and I've started to unlock more costumes, which actually really open up some of the other levels. So you can go back and do you can get to further areas or higher areas in the game, like in the levels where you couldn't before, to get more statues and stuff, and even find more costumes. But the one thing that I need to do in this game before I next stream it, I'm actually going to do some grinding. So it's not an RPG, so you don't get experience points. But if you don't know about it, basically you pick up these costumes throughout the worlds and stuff, and you need these keys to pick up the costumes. But when you have a costume, technically you have it until you get hit or die, basically. So if I pick up one costume and then pick up two of another costume, basically you can pick up costumes multiple times. If I'm wearing one costume and I get hit, you lose that costume. So if I've only got one of them, you then have to go and find that costume again on the level that you got it from to be able to use it, basically. So you kind of have to store up costumes like in your back pocket almost, basically, because when you get the more you progress, you can actually get to these checkpoints where you can actually choose what costumes you want to use at the time and stuff. So you can actually pick whatever costumes you want. You can pick a costume from level 1 to use on level 12, for example. But yeah, if you don't have enough of those costumes, then you have to go back to those levels to find them, which is really annoying because I had that problem. I was like, oh, I can see a thing I can get up there, but I need a certain character to do it. And I was like, oh, I don't have any more of those costumes left because I clearly died or something when I was wearing them. So I'm going to go and do some grinding and collect lots of costumes, basically, which is annoying. It's a bad thing in the game.
That's like a counterproductive Metroidvania attempt. It doesn't make sense. That's bad game design. That's not fun. Yeah. That doesn't have a challenge.
Yeah, it would be so much better if once you picked up a costume, you had access to it. I don't have a problem with losing that power, but if I could just go back to the checkpoint to go into the costume menu and just pick out that costume again, just pick it up again. I don't need to keep storing them up or something, if that makes sense. So yeah.
And you still plan on streaming this Friday?
Oh yeah, I'll keep streaming, but I'm going to do the grinding offline. Balling,
nice.
Well, that's
Ballin' Wonderworld. That's for Chris.
Yeah,
Ballin' Wonderworld.
If you're listening.
So yeah, I'm still enjoying it. So yeah, and has anyone caught up with Falcon and Winter Soldier yet?
Yeah, it got intense in episode 4, so I've watched a little bit more, and I don't know what a lot of shit's gonna have to happen in this last episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just fell off after 2. I didn't even bother going back into it. I don't know. I was just burnt out.
Just pick up on episode 4 because you wouldn't have missed anything.
Yeah, honestly, if anyone has not watched it yet, just skip to episode 4.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
There's stuff that I thought was going to happen in episode 1. I was thinking this stuff's got to happen. It all happened in episode 4. I was like, okay, cool, right, brilliant. Now I know where I am at. So yeah, I think the last episode should be good, judging from what they're building up to. So yeah,
is it predictable?
What's that?
Is it predictable? Is it what you expected would happen in your head if for the progression of the story?
Well, I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going to happen at the end, but there were certain things I was certain character developments. I was like, I reckon this is going to happen, and it did basically. Because up until that point, I was like, this story's kind of going nowhere. Something like this has to happen to make it interesting, but that thing actually did happen in episode 4. So
yeah. I think that's very true. And the I think that this is going to end differently in terms of comparison to WandaVision. Like WandaVision was a contained thing, and I guess you could argue they left it open at the end, but at the same time, if they just like didn't do anything with her character for 5 years, it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah.
I very much feel like this is going to end with like, and now you better check out Doctor Strange's movie or the next Spider-Man if you want to see what's gonna go on next, you know. But I won't say too many spoilers. I won't say any spoilers, but I'll just say something that I mentioned about some of these characters in the comic book world are coming to fruition, and that's why I say just skip the first 3 episodes, and you'll get what you want. So, that 3-way fight scene was pretty sweet, though. That was pretty good.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
I feel like that's literally what I was expecting to happen every episode of this show, but it is not. So it's kind of annoying in that regard. Because again, it's trying to be like a mystery detective, like justice and freedom and what is America. And it's like, just fly around and beat shit. Like,
that's what I want.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, if you do skip to episode 4, they have a little previously on Falcon Winter Soldier thing, so it just catches you up anyway. So yeah,
that boggles my mind that even exists for these things.
So should I just skip to like episode 8 then, because it'll just recap?
Well, there's only
thing?
6.
Yeah,
never mind.
Watch 4, 5, and 6 because that's when all the good stuff actually happens so far. Well, 4 and 5 so far. Yeah. Another thing, I put up a review for Mass Destruction, a Sega Saturn game. So check that out on our YouTube channel if you can, or if you want to. It's really short. I managed to make it under 3 minutes long. And that's the idea of this review. It's going to be a short review.
I thought you did a great job with that.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah. Because I think all my previous ones have been like 10 or 12 minutes long, and it's kind of boring. So this one, keeping it short and sweet.
Keep quick in a video. Is that what the front of the box looks? Do you have the box on you by chance, Graham?
I don't actually have my UK box here. It's at my parents' house.
The American version looks so different if that is the box art, because like the American version has like literally a dude's legs trapped in the treads of the tank.
Yeah, I'll bring up a comparison if you like.
Sure, I can turn around or I can walk over to my shelf and get the American one.
Okay, yeah, I'll bring up the PAL version.
If I don't get caught on everything in the process here. Let's take a look. It's in a book.
Okay, so this is basically someone who's just created this version, but this is basically what the PAL version is. I can't actually find a good looking.
Got it.
Oh yeah, so it looks very uniform and like professional. Yeah, and this is the fucking American version. Like the barrel of the tank is melting from so many things being fired out of it. The tank, it's a front view of the tank, and then there's literally a pair of legs sticking out of part of the tank treads. Like this,
it's a pair of legs and a throbbing shaft right in your face.
Yeah.
An explosion right behind it. And then mass destruction. Like it's got like the letters of like Mortal Kombat Trilogy and Die Hard. You know,
there are 3 captions on the back. I'm going to read the choice one that they really only needed to put this on the back. Barbecue everything in your path with a crap load of firepower, flamethrowers, guided missiles, mortars, mines, vortex bombs, and more.
What does the back of the other version say? Anything?
Oh,
have a cup of tea.
Yeah, probably. I can't find the only thing is the UK version doesn't really have any good screenshots online. The first one I showed was like a fan made reprint or something, but it was the same style cover. Oh wait, no, I think I've just found it's really blurry. Yeah, I can't really read this. I'll try and show it to you, but this is basically what it looks like.
There's a stark difference, right? You know,
there's a stark difference. Yeah. Yeah, I can't read any of that. Just at the top though, it says Mass Destruction. There you go. But if you don't know about the game, it's kind of like
God, you have like a fucking novel on the back of yours. Or is that like 5 different languages?
It might be 5 different languages. It normally is. But yeah. If you don't know about the game, it's like a Desert Strike style game, but in tanks. I don't think I basically can destroy pretty much everything.
Don't tell them about the game, Graham. Tell them to go watch your video.
Go watch my video.
Watch the video. Go watch the video on YouTube. Yeah. Do that. It's also Mechavisions on YouTube if you guys didn't know. So go pop over for 3 minutes.
Word. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. I'll try and gloss over this very quickly. But one other thing is, I brought this up on the show back when Chris used to join us a lot. I have been reading a lot of books, and there's a novelist called Brandon Sanderson, who I absolutely love. And I read this book series called the Mistborn Trilogy, which is about, I don't know if you remember, Scotty, it's about these people who basically can swallow flakes of metal, and they can like use the metal as powers. Like they basically almost have superpowers, if that's the best way to explain it. But I then found out there was a second trilogy, which is set at a different time period, and it's almost like a cowboy meets fantasy, and it's brilliant. It's even I kind of think I might prefer it to the original, because the original was very much medieval style fantasy with magic and stuff, whereas this is like cowboys with magic, and it's like awesome. And it's kind of got a bit more of a detective feel to it. It's like this guy's like a lawman, basically tracking down some killers and stuff. And I loved it. But it turns out that he's making a fourth one in this series, and then there's going to be even more in this universe. So really excited by it. Yeah, check him out. The Mistborn novels. Check those out if you can. So I just finished reading that, and I was like, "That's so good." And then I found out he's making a fourth one. I was like, "Yeah." Oh, so good. But that's it, basically.
A lot of book, basically, because that's what anyone's talking about now.
Oh, sorry, I missed the start of that. What did you say?
I said, so whenever everyone's done reading the Words of Wisdom from Iwata, or whatever the heck it's called, since that's what everyone's reading right now.
I have no idea what that is.
Of course you don't.
Like the Nintendo president, Satoru Iwata?
Oh,
I didn't know that. Oh, I guess I would be interested in that too.
Yeah, I shared it. I shared that it was on sale on Amazon in the Discord here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Again, Ask Iwata, Words of Wisdom from Satoru Iwata. I will copy the link and throw it into the Twitch if anybody wants to save a couple bucks on it. But yeah, it's on sale right now on Amazon. So
okay, I'll just quickly bring up my Amazon screen here. Here we go.
So he's not. He has passed, and these are basically things taken from his notebook or just people's experiences with him and information bestowed upon them. He never really. He was one of. I believe it was him who took a massive pay cut when Nintendo wasn't doing well to like lower his pay grade to that of the. Just as the people underneath him or whatever.
Oh, that's cool. Massive respect. So, yeah, I've heard that happen quite a few times in some Japanese gaming companies, especially like the old school ones like Sega and stuff, where when they've hit financial trouble, the big top people, they haven't stepped down. They've stayed there leading the way, but they've had a massive pay cut, or they've donated money towards the company to keep it going, which I think is freaking awesome. Like you never see that in like English or American companies, I guess.
Yeah, they have more honor than we do. I rarely hear that kind of story over here.
Yeah, which is a massive shame. But oh well, cool. But yeah, I have no pickups this week for like the first time in forever, I think. Yeah,
okay.
Well, we'll see. Well, maybe next week. Maybe next week I'll have something juicy to show you.
That's okay. You don't have to buy things.
Yeah, you're not forced to purchase stuff.
Oh man, one day we'll get a sponsor, and then they can buy us the stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. So okay, with that brings us to the end of our week's happenings and stuff. Do we want to go into the mail sack, or do we want to have a quick break before we crack on with the juicy bits of the show?
However you guys are feeling. We only got one question that's not relevant directly to the main topic, so it might be quick to do a question and then go into...
Let's do that then.
Yeah, let's do the question and then the break real quick.
Here it is where you ask us stuff and we answer it. Hooray! Excuse me.
Oh, God. Perfect timing, Scotty, for when we came back from that. Nice one.
Oh, great. Good.
I hope they heard it.
Oh, dear. Ever the professional. That's
what I wanted as we enter the mail sack. So you can throw us stuff in our Discord, or you can ask us questions in the chat right now. But Happy Dude had from the Discord. So there's a chance of them rebooting the franchise yet again, meaning Mortal Kombat, because of the good ending of the most recent DLC for Mortal Kombat 11. Now rebooting a franchise like they did for Mortal Kombat 9 from 2011 is okay, but doing it more than once is just too much. what are your thoughts about a second reboot of the franchise?
I mean, I can comment on this because I have played all the DLC, and I know what you're talking about, and I don't know if I want to delve into spoilers. I'll just be vague. I will say that I think if they go far back enough in the timeline, you're basically creating, an original cast and series of characters. So, I mean, it's kind of hard. You could
time travel or something nonsensical,
right. So in Mortal Kombat 9, they had the time travel. They basically Raiden. It was basically taking place after Armageddon, which came out in 2005. So then they did the reboot because everyone died
after Armageddon. Just another Sunday
Yeah,
Armageddon.
And then just everyone dies. And yeah, so they rebooted it once, and then 11 was basically like a go back in time thing, I would say too. And the ending in the DLC suggests a new, but you know what, I look at it from the other perspective where it's like these timeline things have happened and existed, so it's not like it's in a vacuum where it's like, all right, forget about what happened before, because like those actions still exist and people know these things happened, if that makes any sense. Like it's not like they're just like forgetting about it, like it's part of the story. I don't know, it's interesting, but I don't know, I'm not opposed to them going like 2,000 years back in time, but yeah, I guess we'll just see what they do, because they could honestly go in any direction after the ending of that DLC. So if anyone's curious about it, go buy Mortal Kombat 11. So that's my answer.
I was just going to make a silly joke about Armageddon. Do you know what it's short for?
No.
Short for Armageddon out of here.
Oh my God! You should have kept that in your head.
All right. Joke tips with Graham. Announce that you're telling a joke before the joke.
We're going to put a trigger warning before you give your joke.
You got a boo in the chat for that.
Thank you. Jesus.
Throw your digital tomatoes at his camera, please. The Bruce Almighty movie had that joke at the fucking end of it.
Oh, did it? I can't. I can't.
It's probably where Graham got it from subconsciously.
Maybe. It's just been trapped in my brain for that long. Wow. Classic. Scotty, did you want to answer the question as well, or
I know very little about the Mortal Kombat lore other than Johnny Cage's daughter fights him or something. I don't really know, so I'm not too concerned. I'm not ever going to be that guy and be like, plot in a fighting game, whatever, because I know that is a big thing. So I'm not going to dismiss it, but I don't know anything about it to really comment on it.
Okay, fair enough. I also don't really have enough experience to comment on a reboot of it. I mean, I don't have a huge problem with it. Like, I feel like these are the sort of the games that, especially I find fighting games, the general idea of it could feel a little bit stale. Like if you're just having the same thing over and over again, like each year or each iteration. So if you are able to reboot and like get these characters like fresh again, like it can make the games more interesting for future. Like if you're a big fan of the franchise, because other than like technology advancing, the games wouldn't really change that much. And technology at the moment is like one of those things that the graphics will be slightly better. It might run a tiny bit smoother, but is it going to be a huge leap up? So yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see another reboot, maybe. Yeah, I think that's my sentiment towards it. Basically, not completely against it.
Cool.
Yeah,
the Ninja Turtles are in Injustice, aren't they? Not Mortal Kombat.
They are an Injustice, yeah. Okay, I actually bought Injustice 2. Oh, that was a pickup. Too late for that. Like a week ago, and then I was like, "What the hell is? Was it Leonardo? I think it was Leonardo. Yeah. What is he doing in Injustice?" And I forgot they're all owned by Warner Brothers, if I'm not mistaken. Are they all under that umbrella?
Well, the Turtles are under Nickelodeon, and that might be somehow with Warner Brothers now. I'm not
Yeah,
really
I'm
sure.
trying to figure out who the parent company is that might own all those franchises.
Yeah, because Warner Brothers definitely owns the movie rights and the game rights. So it could be
For Ninja Turtles.
Oh no, sorry for the Mortal Kombat. Sorry. So that's I'm going to quickly double check, I guess.
Yeah, because they have Sub-Zero in Injustice 2 as well. And yeah, I mean, that's a legit good game. Like, I really enjoyed Injustice 2. By the way, for anyone who
I literally bought it when it was on sale one year because the Turtles DLC was announced. Haven't played it at all.
So
you should.
Apparently, Viacom CBS owns Nickelodeon, but they have got a connection to the Warner Brothers Studios by the looks of it, because their name used to be like Warner Cable Communications and Warner Amex Satellite or something. So
got it.
Gotcha. I assume there is some sort of tie there. It's hard to actually just
corporations.
It's a mess. It's a massive spider web of different companies.
I don't know. Logically, I was bummed when I found out Nickelodeon bought the Turtles, but then I had to think, like, wait, who the fuck owned the Turtles before? Because it wasn't like Universal Films or something like that, you know. But then I also realized when the Sonic comic, the new one, was announced on IDW, I was just like, oh my god, Ghostbusters are owned by IDW, Aliens are owned by IDW. Oh, wow. There's the Ninja Turtles are with IDW. Anyone crossover with Sonic, please.
Yes, there you go.
Because there was that whole like TMNT meets Ghostbusters, or like TMNT meets Transformers, like the Transformers are owned by IDW. Like, where is this movie? Where is not Space Jam 2? Where is the movie with these characters that we want together? Like, not Clockwork Orange cast, you know?
Crossover of a lifetime. That'd be great.
I want to double check something. Am I correct in thinking that it's like Mortal Kombat 10 or 11 or maybe even 9, they have Rambo in one of them? Not Injustice, but in one of the Mortal Kombat games.
They do, yes. I think it was 11.
Wasn't he the most recent character?
I think it's 11. Yeah, okay. Wait, hold on. I got to get this right because I have the freaking game.
The coolest and worst thing that I remember seeing for Mortal Kombat in terms of add-on characters was that they brought in Freddy Krueger, which I was like, fucking yeah, let's go. Who cares? But then I saw that it wasn't Robert Englund. It was the new Freddy Krueger. I'm like, what? So like one step forward, two step backward thing sort of situation. But like, yeah, I do remember when they made the announcement for Rambo, because everybody was like, dude, they have Terminator. Like, they have Arnold in there. They have a Xenomorph at one point. They have all this. And then you bring in
they had Jason. Like, they had all these characters. Ed Boon was basically like, why the fuck not? Like, we like these movies, so they wanted reasons to put them in the game. Like, for me personally, I don't know if I liked that there was like this lore with, you know, their own characters, and then like just throwing in like Freddy Krueger or Jason made it feel, I don't know, cheap to me, like for a little, you know, like just personally. But like, I honestly at this point, I don't care. I think it's kind of cool that I could use the Terminator against like Scorpion or Shang Tsung.
Makes no sense.
It makes no sense, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like, they introduced multiverses and shit like that, so why not? Maybe they're in like a different multiverse, right? Or part of the multiverse. So
yeah, and it was. I just thought it was funny because they have all these supernatural characters and like these scary movie based characters and stuff, and then they try to top it all off with Rambo, just a dude with bad PTSD. Like, he doesn't have any special abilities.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a big ass gun, so you know he's got that going for him.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. Wow. So I don't really. We're kind of starting to go into the main topic now with this. So before we do that, let's. Unless you guys had anything else to add, I'm gonna play us out.
Oh no, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, because we don't want to get into too much or too far away from the Mortal Kombat. It's the end of the listener questions.
Nice. Yeah. So we are going to take a quick break, but we'll come back with our Mortal Kombat main topic. So if you guys in the chat have any Mortal Kombat memories or questions or feedback or anything around Mortal Kombat, just chuck it in the chat and we'll get to it. So yeah, we'll be back in a minute or two. Cheers.
Hell yeah.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We are now going into our feature discussion. And Scotty has something.
He's got a box cutter in a box.
This box arrived literally during the recording. So I thought it'd be fun to open up because I think most of us. Oh boy, let me do this not like an idiot.
Hope it's not something embarrassing.
No,
a penis pump. How did that get in there?
Well,
is it your clone or Willie?
Isn't mine?
Yeah, the side of the box dictates it's explosive, so we'll be
explosive penis pump. Why not?
All right, I got to show the contents of this because it is literally the batteries, but it is a box that is like big enough for like 2 grapefruits. I don't know. That's the source of measurement.
I've worked at a warehouse at Best Buy. Sometimes like I would run out of like the bigger or the smaller size boxes, so I end up using like the bigger ones and package something that size that normally you'd put like a PlayStation in there or something. So
I got my 6 2032 batteries. Don't worry, guys. They are child secure with a bitter coating.
You should create a video for how to put in the battery in your Sega Saturn.
I can do it right now.
I mean, another stream, not now.
Yeah, how to basic.
How to basic, yeah, for YouTube.
So, like the Switch card, Silic Aurelia was asking in the chat.
What?
So it is.
What?
Graham, pay attention to what your co-hosts are saying.
Yeah, I heard what you said, but I'm like, that's a thing? What?
Oh yeah.
You need to go lick a Switch cartridge right now.
I'm going to do that right now, if we can.
They're so small.
Wait,
I don't think. Graham, have you owned a dog before?
Have I? No, I have not owned a dog.
Okay.
I've owned
So they
cats,
sell a bitter spray, which is essentially like lemon spray or something to spray on things you don't want the dog to get to. Okay, Graham's going to lick this.
Are you
cartridge.
looking at cartridge?
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to choose. I might choose a game. Wait, I'm going to choose a game. Oh no, most of my games are in the carry case. Never mind. This is the Mario 3D All Stars game.
So what's it supposed to taste like? Iron? Pennies?
It's just going to be, the chat's yelling for it. Iron Chef hopped in right now and goes, just in time, lick.
Oh no, it does have a horrible. Ugh.
I've licked a D battery before. Those are square batteries? No, that's not square batteries. That's the 9 volt. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Ugh. No, that does leave a very bitter taste in your mouth.
Not as an adult, as a dumb teenager. I licked that.
I need to drink. Sorry.
As an angsty teen, I licked a 9 volt. We have a grown man licking a Nintendo cartridge right now.
They should have a warning on the box about this. What the hell? Is there a warning?
Okay.
They put warning labels from people like you. That's how that happens.
Viewers like you. Someone asked me to lick the battery now, so let me get one of these out and see. It's not coming out of the box.
The only thing on the back of this says, to avoid accidental ingestion, keep the game card away from children. Doesn't mention that it's going to taste horrible as well.
This is why they put like caution hot on coffee cups, because people are like, oh yeah, totally. Just burn myself.
Oh wow. No. See, I'm a child who used to eat lots of things, and I used to eat plastic and stuff, and it's never tasted that bad before. I'll tell you that much.
So this is the Mortal Kombat discussion, folks. We're licking cartridges.
We're not quite there yet for the Mortal Kombat. I wonder if the Mortal Kombat one tastes like blood. That'd be good. Oh no, that has left a nasty taste.
It's like pennies.
Ooh, I can smell this. Like I haven't ate the battery yet. I mean, licked the battery yet, but I can smell it. I'm trying to get there's a layer of plastic on the back of the plastic, and it is a bitch and a half to get out of this thing right now.
Welcome to the live show, folks.
Packaging. What is with this packaging? There's like, you guys aren't going to be able to see it, but like, there's the batteries there, and then I had to like peel off another layer. Whatever. Here we go.
Wait, so what's supposed to happen if you put it in your
Oh yeah. Ooh, ting.
Yeah, no
ting,
shit,
ting.
battery acid and stuff, right?
We need some people to clip this stuff. This is gold.
No, that's bad. That's bad. Oh,
this is what you should clip for the Mortal Kombat discussion: is licking batteries with like the Techno Syndrome song in the background.
No, bad. That's bad.
Mortal Kombat.
I need something with flavor. That's bad. Oh god damn.
You should try some of this Bangster berry that I got over here.
Bitter coating on the battery, non-toxic bitter coating on the battery that is designed to compel those who put the battery in their mouth to immediately spit the battery out. They say battery like times.
It says it on the packaging.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen with you, Scotty, but for me, it keeps repeating itself. It keeps like just coming back. Like I've washed it away.
This video is why they put those messages on the package.
It's like embedded in my taste buds somehow. That's so weird. I've never had this before.
We have to call 911 in the middle of this stream, Graham.
It's bad. I'm gonna go get something flavored. I'll be right back.
Okay. Brilliant. Oh dear. Okay, well, while Scotty's doing that, shall we actually crack on with this week's feature discussion?
Let's roll into it. Yeah,
let's roll. We're going to roll into it. Yeah, that's right. This week, as mentioned before, we are talking about Mortal Kombat Memories. So if you don't know, the new Mortal Kombat movie is coming out, it's basically, in a few days, April the 23rd. So
some countries have already released it, but I think in some Spanish countries, they released the movie.
Okay.
But yeah, for most of the world, it's going to be coming out this Friday.
I'm back with candy.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. So if you are listening to the audio version of the show or watching the recorded version, I guess the one we put up on YouTube, they may have already come out by then, but hopefully we'll get up the show before that happens. Scotty has got some, what are those, airheads? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay, he's got some sort of treat to eat to get rid of the taste. Nice. All down in one. I like it. Mortal Kombat, the new movie, is coming out, and we're excited about it because this seems like it's going to be the first true Mortal Kombat movie that's actually like properly violent. Like it's like an adult themed movie.
Rated R.
Yeah, rated R in America. I think I don't know what it is over here. It might be a 15 or an 18. 18's like kind of the top level one for us. But they had the Mortal Kombat movie back in 1995, which I think most people seem to really enjoy. I know we all enjoy it. It's a little bit dated in some areas now, but it's still surprisingly entertaining. But that was never really a full-on violent movie.
I love the first movie.
Yeah.
And the second one is a guilty pleasure. I actually thought the second one has a fantastic soundtrack when they're fighting.
Okay.
People like smoking stuff. I mean, the dialogue is a whole other story, and the story is a whole other story. But I thought the music was great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was actually just going to bring up. I was going to bring up the trailer for that, if I can. Oh no, it's not working now. Yes, it is.
For one,
this is for Annihilation, so you can see the second movie.
Oh yes,
yes, it's looking sexy.
Ooh. You know what? Even when I saw it as a kid, when I put it in, because as a kid, I wasn't. It's not like I was completely plugged into like, oh, Annihilation's coming out or whatever. Like I just go into like my video rental store and I see like this new movie with the Mortal Kombat logo on it. They're like, whoa, is this a sequel to the first one? So we bought it, but even as a kid, I thought something was off. That first introduction when they have like everybody at the top of the freaking mountain. Oh yeah, they're all doing their poses, and I'm like, ooh, this is a little cheesy.
It's a bit on the nose.
Never mind the fact that everybody except for Liu Kang was a different actor, or was it Liu Kang?
Liu Kang
and Katana was the same.
And then like Sonya Blade was different. Johnny Cage was different. Raiden was different.
Oh, so annoying.
It was like I was like, I don't know what the hell happened. Like as a kid, I was like, what happened? Like why do they look different? I didn't understand.
It's so bad. But yeah, it's just cheesy, really. And isn't there like the gratuitous girl on girl fight scene in the mud moment as well?
Sonya versus Melina, and it was just like it was just like mud wrestling, and it was like a lot of them were super short. I think the biggest criticism I think people had was that that movie was basically like, we have so many Mortal Kombat characters, let's throw in as many as we can in the movie with giving them little to no background information about their characters. I think Rain was in there for like 5 seconds, and Shao Kahn hammered him, and he died like in a fire or whatever. Same thing with Cyrax, and like they said, Melina just like pops in. Everyone just pops in for like couple minutes and then dies. No background, no nothing. You know,
basically.
but I think that's how they treated video game movies then anyway. You know, like they didn't think it was a serious. You know, you could make it serious or grounded. I think one thing that this new movie that's coming out next or this Friday is that they're trying to make it more grounded. I mean, they have the added benefit of having 10 Mortal Kombat movies or games out since 1997,
right?
You know, with additional dialogue and stories and all that stuff. So they have that, but yeah, so far reviews for the new one seem to be pretty good, actually,
awesome.
which is awesome for me. I think fans will like it even more because some of the people who are reviewing the movie weren't necessarily fans of Mortal Kombat because they said they felt like some of it was like things maybe you should already know beforehand, just certain points in the movie. So yeah, just some stuff I've read.
So I'm just playing the trailer right now for the latest movie that's coming out this week. So yeah, you can probably see. As you say, I guess it kind of is more grounded than the other ones, but at the same time,
one thing I do want to applaud them is the actual casting of the characters because I think they got that down fantastically. They have one character who is a standalone, like unique character. I think his name is Cole, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
He's a new character, and I think he's the main character, or I guess I don't know how they're gonna structure the movie, but I think he's like one of the focal characters. And yeah, he has like this tattoo or scar or something in the shape of a Mortal Kombat, logo. And I think that's how people were chosen or something. I don't know how they're going to go about that. It's still kind of vague.
Mentions it in the trailer that like they have these sort of kind of scar tattoo type things, like birthmarks almost, and they are the chosen ones to go to the tournament sort of thing. That's what
I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that concept. I don't think they should be like just completely like mimicking the whole story from the games. I think you can roll with that as long as you do a good job. People were complaining that Johnny Cage apparently is in the movie, but like you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to throw everyone in the movie like Mortal Kombat Annihilation just to please people. Like set up the story first, make a good movie, and then you can introduce Johnny Cage in the sequel or whatever if this does well. So let's see. Let's not forget the way too long Raiden fight where he does like 20 flips backwards for no reason. I'm assuming you're referring to Annihilation.
Oh yeah, classic.
And like he cut his hair or something, and they had like a concept like that too, right? They had like this tattoo on them, and then when they die, it like disappears in Annihilation.
I don't know. I actually haven't seen Annihilation. I've only seen the first one, and somewhat recently, since when the Megavision Sideshow was still a thing, we talked about it. Corey, who's at Tornado Jones, myself, and I think Pal, maybe Sketchcraft. I can't remember who was on that episode.
I was as well. So
were you? Shit.
Yeah, that was one of the few that I actually joined you guys on for that. And I'm actually playing the trailer for the original Mortal Kombat movie now.
Lord Almighty.
Yeah.
So, Scotty, you said you recently watched it because of that show. What did you think of it? I appreciate you being on the show because you don't have as much of a ingrained view of Mortal Kombat as like I do, for example. Like that, I've played every single Mortal Kombat game that has come out, including the shitty ones like
Gold.
So, what are your thoughts on the first movie?
The first movie is fun. It's I mean for like it was 2 decades too early in terms of animated graphics or anything like that, like CG anything, because the reptile scenes are just laughable.
It didn't age well. Yeah,
no, not at all. And the thing coming out of Scorpion's hand, I've seen like a meme of a kitten climbing out of his hand and other stuff. I
have not seen that actually.
Claw thing. Excuse me, but Paul W.S. Anderson, he's done all the goddamn Resident Evil movies. This was his first like American release. Was the first, or maybe not his first American release, but like a big one of his. was this one, and then he went on to do Event Horizon. But
he did the Resident Evil movies. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh
wow.
Ooh.
Yep.
I didn't know what to think of that.
Yeah, nobody does. I never do. It's a confused feeling every time. Emotion.
Well, I feel like with Resident Evil, I think there was more story. I guess like in Mortal Kombat, like you had like there wasn't too much to work with. I guess you have in the first 2 or 3 arcade games, you had like an introduction scroll. You had, brief descriptions of, after a character wins or whatever, but you didn't really truly know what was the canon story and what wasn't until, the following game when they say what happened. So, but even then it was fairly bare bones. So, I think the director had more breathing room or creative room to work with. Whereas like with Resident Evil, I thought, I don't know. That's the kind of like dance in my head that I keep thinking about. Like, I don't want them to be imitating the games, scene by scene or, story plot by story plot. But I also don't want them to go so far off. Like, I guess like the Super Mario Brothers movie where it's like almost not related to the world at all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope the new Mortal Kombat movie has a nice balance, and it seems like from what people are saying, they're taking the storyline of Mortal Kombat 9. So after they reset the timeline, they're using that particular storyline.
Have they said that, or have they said that, or what? What do you?
I've seen people talk about it. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what they're saying. So.
Mm-hmm.
Take it for what you will. I guess we'll see when the movie comes out on Friday. But yeah,
you froze for me for a second. What?
I froze?
Yes, you froze for me. I was fine. I mean, I wasn't talking, so it doesn't matter. But you froze for me. Something about Friday.
Oh yeah. I said I guess we'll just see when the movie comes out on Friday.
Oh yeah. The first one though is a fun, goofy thing. I don't think it's bad. Like, it's still a genuinely entertaining movie. But it's one of those things like you watch for the entertainment value, not because it's a strong representation of Mortal Kombat or anything like that. I was gonna equate it to the Sonic OVA, that anime Sonic movie, because that's like a legit good movie, arguably one of the best animated Sonic story based things. But you wouldn't use that to introduce someone to Sonic because it's so vaguely related to like the actual whatever story was in the games then.
Right.
But the first movie's fun. I believe I own it, and if I don't, I should probably just get that in an Annihilation pack if they don't end up just doing something with this movie, because I feel like that was the first video game movie that people walked out of it and they were like, I enjoyed this. I think it set a different bar, it didn't raise the bar, but it set some sort of bar for video game movies, I feel.
Was the Super Mario Brothers movie the first video game movie, or was there something before?
Let's look it up. Mario Brothers movie. Google tells.
Say, if Super Mario Brothers the movie was like the beginning, like that is such a steep hill to climb after that. Trying to prove that video game movies are legitimate and good.
Yeah, tell me about it. That was 93 for the Mario Brothers movie. I'm trying to look up a list of video games movies.
I mean, I guess Clue, the board game. That was a movie.
Yeah. Is there a Monopoly movie out there?
Oh God,
making one.
Is that just The Apprentice? Anyway.
Yeah.
And Street Fighter was 1 year before Mortal Kombat. That was like 1994.
Right. So obviously they were not firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
But it's also like Hollywood. I mean, like I'm pretty sure the executives at Hollywood have like they have a disconnect between the video game itself and then the actual movie that comes out. You know?
Oh yeah, totally.
I remember reading horror stories about the production of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Was it in Console Wars? It might have been. And they were not having it.
I think Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo were like drunk for most of the shooting of it because it was just intolerable.
I would too if I read the script on that for sure. Like Goombas were like giant dudes in suits with like small heads.
That was a Goomba back in my day.
Oh my god.
The Wikipedia list of theatrical releases for video game based movies, take this with a grain of salt, but Mario Brothers is the first one. I'll read off this list and you can like just get transported into where our standards were.
Yeah, how many are good?
Because it started with Mario Brothers, then Double Dragon.
Wow.
Then Street Fighter, then Mortal Kombat, then Annihilation, Wing Commander, Lara Croft Tomb Raider, then the first Resident Evil. This is a span of 9 years right there. And then the next Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, and then House of the Dead.
Oh.
Ooh, that's and Blood Rain somewhere in there.
It's a little while later.
Blood Rain's a little further down because we got Resident Evil Apocalypse, Alone in the Dark, Doom, and then Blood Rain. Silent Hill is probably my favorite video game movie because it is one where if you didn't play the games, you had no idea what was going on some of the time.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought it was creepy, but
I have a controversial view on one of these movies on this list, which is the Dead or Alive movie. I didn't hate it. It reminds me actually a lot of the first Mortal Kombat movie. It's basically the same plot, pretty much the same plot, which kind of works with the game. The downside was most of the characters didn't really seem to quite represent their video game characters. But I still had fun with it. Like, it's fine.
So, Graham, what was your first Mortal Kombat movie or game, I guess?
Ooh.
Before we get away from that,
okay.
Yes.
W.S. Anderson was one of the producers for the Dead or Alive movie.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
Wow. Oh, my God. There you go.
That silent movie, I guess. I don't know.
Man.
Like his vision.
Oh, well, actually, no, we can get onto this later, I guess. Well, I was going to ask the question. Screw it. I'm going to ask it now anyway. What is your favourite video game movie? So Scotty's just said his. Do you have one, Marcin?
I mean, what? How many out? Like, there aren't that many out there that I enjoyed. But I'll say the ones that I enjoy was the first Mortal Kombat movie. I liked Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie.
Okay.
The first one. I never finished the reboot the reboot one. I don't know. Like, I don't have a big opinion on that one. And then, I mean, the Sonic movie that came out, I thought was good. You know, like it was solid. You know, there were some, cheesy dialogues, but like you're obviously catering towards kids, right? Like that's your goal. But I thought as a movie, it was good. I thought it was solid. So those three, Mortal Kombat's probably my favorite. It's just close to my heart, and I've watched it many times. I've watched it as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult, and I still enjoy it regardless of what age I've watched it. So I hope the new one, replaces it. I'm really hopeful for a new movie to do well. So
fair enough.
And create an actual universe, like create sequels, like instead of Annihilation. You have have a coherent, grounded storyline. So
cool. So I just
ignored the fact that the Pokemon movies existed. Those are actually legit good movies. I forgot.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Yeah. Are you talking about
the animated ones?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like I just never thought of it like in that sense. I guess if I'm thinking of like Detective Pikachu, I actually did like Detective Pikachu, so I would add that to the list as well.
Oh.
But like I don't know, the anime like Pokemon stuff, I just don't put it in the same category, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's almost unfair to put those.
Same with Digimon, because in that case, I love Digimon and Pokemon, the animated series.
I guess that doesn't really make sense to include the Pokemon ones because those are not adaptations or like they're not video game movies. They're anime movies because there was already a Pokemon anime. So
right. Bob Hoskins isn't dressed as a Pikachu or whatever. Like you can't compare the two.
Yeah. I think that's a crucial thing to just you made a very good distinction there, Scotty, in that the Pokemon and Digimon, they had an animated series basically, I think before the video games, didn't they? I feel like before the video games.
Had
The game came out first.
Did it? I always thought. Okay. I always thought the cartoon came out first.
I remember the cartoon debuted on like Labor Day weekend in the States because I was sitting there ready to record it, and it was not the first episode. It was very confusing. Thank you, Fox. Yet again, airing things out of order.
They screwed up Firefly doing that. Screw them. I hate them so much.
Oh yeah, Fox is never.
The video game movie that always stands out for me. I love Mortal Kombat. I like the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I actually like the Tomb Raider movies, including the new one. But I think my favourite is Prince of Persia. If anyone's seen that, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
I did see that, but it's forgettable for me. I don't know.
Oh, really?
There were
for me that was
that movie before it was even out.
For me, that was just a fun adventure action movie that basically you wouldn't need to know anything about the video games to watch. And I came out of it going, I just love everything about it. So, and I'm a fan of the Prince of Persia franchise, except for the 2008 remake, which I thought was one of the worst games I've ever played. I think it was 2008. Anyway, screw it. But yeah, big fan of that one. But yeah, let's go back to Mortal Kombat. Screw it. Right. So, do you want to go to the games? Should we talk about the games now? Or do you want
I was just curious, which one was the first one that you played?
Okay, so the very first one I played was Mortal Kombat in the arcade. I remember being out in the arcade and playing it and being like, what is this? There's like blood and scary things happening, and I was terrible at it. And I remember playing as Liu Kang. Liu Kang's still my favourite character. I just love the martial arts that he does and stuff, and just think
I think Liu Kang in the first one was supposed to be... It was supposed to be, I thought, Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee. It was one of the two. It was originally supposed to be...
they wanted to make Johnny Cage... They tried to hire Jean-Claude Van Damme to be his digitized person.
And then they changed the story in the game completely to something else.
I think so. Yeah, because like in that Insert Coin documentary, they were not afraid to say that Jean-Claude Van Damme was like, "You want me in a video game? Fuck off!" But then Combat was doing really well when he contacted them again or something. It's like
that's why he did Street Fighter.
Oh,
yeah,
that's why he did Street Fighter.
Yeah, that'll learn him. Yeah.
And he really landed the gold mine of that Street Fighter movie.
Wow. Yeah.
But yeah, the first Mortal Kombat movie, first game that I actually played was 2, and it was like some weird like mall. It wasn't a mall. It was like some outlet store, and they had like these 3 arcade cabinets that were just like in the middle, in between like women and men's clothing. I don't know why the layout was like that, but yeah, my mom was shopping, and then we played Mortal Kombat 2. And I was like, "Whoa, this is insanity!" And then I didn't play the first one until we went to Wisconsin Dells as kids, and they had an arcade section. And then we just dumped a bunch of quarters into the first one. And then after that, we were just, but our cousin would come over, and he brought Mortal Kombat 3. We got Mortal Kombat Trilogy for Christmas. I mean, my parents had no idea what these games were, that they were violent. They were just like, "Oh, you like this, right? Here you go." I don't know if you guys remember Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero.
That's the name I couldn't think of. Yeah.
That was like a action platformer type, almost an RPG, I guess. Like he leveled up and had like, moves he learned after each level. That game was hard as shit. But I enjoyed it. I remember, did you guys get like VHS tapes in the mail from like developers and things like that? Because I think maybe because Midway was based out of Chicago and we lived here, we got a videotape from Midway with like their upcoming games that they had. So they had like a how-to of Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero, like a kind of like a mini documentary. I think they had like was Cruising USA. It's like one of those. Pandemonium was on there.
Wow.
And there was something else, but I still have that VHS tape. Also a Pokemon as well. Like it was like before it launched the anime series, there was like a promo video. Wow. I have a VHS tape of that too. And they were like showing off all the merchandise, the anime that's coming out. Maybe it's worth a lot of money. Who knows? I should dig that up.
Something, yeah.
But yeah, and then
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and then after that, it's just been like every release since Mortal Kombat 4. I went to GameStop, and my parent, I wanted to get it, and the guy was like explaining to my parents, "Do you really want this? Like, there's blood and guts." And my parents didn't know what that meant in Polish. I was like, he just asked if you want to buy this game, and they were like, "Oh yeah, yes, I want to buy this game." But they're basically saying, "Yes, I know there's blood and gore in here." So the benefits of having foreign parents and knowing translation stuff, but and then I played every game since.
What about you, Scotty? What's your first Mortal Kombat game experience?
It was probably the first or the second one on Genesis. I didn't really care about fighting games as a kid, like at all. I didn't understand. To me as a child, it was like, wait, there's no progression. Like, this is the screen the whole time. There's only this one spot. Like, it didn't make sense to me as a child. So I never really, the first fighting game I ever bought was Marvel vs. Capcom on the Dreamcast because I had already played Sonic Adventure to death, and this had Spider-Man in it. So, or no, you know what? I take that back because I got Rival Schools on the PS1. And that's a very good fighting game. We always play the sequel during the Dreamcast marathon, Project Justice.
Yeah.
So would you say that's your attitude towards fighting games still in general? Like, you're not a fan because of that specific?
No, I'm bad at them, and I don't really have the attention span to get better. I feel it's not like I enjoy the gimmicky stuff. I enjoy the more insane fighting games. Like I guess I knew of Street Fighter more than I knew of Mortal Kombat as a kid, but I just was not into fighting games. But I really liked, I played a lot of Bloody Roar on the PS1 because I just like that goofy, they can change into animals and bugs and stuff, and I thought that was cool. But so I never really got really into fighters, into Mortal Kombat. And I as a child, I wasn't even aware of like the blood and guts and how like violent it was. I was just like, it was just another game to me.
So your take as a child on fighting games is kind of how I feel more today myself. Like, I'm less into them now, partly because I'm just, I don't know, I kind of over them, and I'm like, they have no, I know they have storylines in them, a lot of the modern ones especially, but I feel like, you're just fighting those people, and then, I don't know, there's no there feels like there's no progression, but I know why they're fun though. I do appreciate that some people find them fun. I just don't.
If you like, certain friends of mine that are way more into fighting games have showed me how deep they are and just how intricate fighting games are. So I've grown to appreciate them a lot more. A Giant Bomb series that they were doing for a while called Ranking of Fighters. It's three of them, and they would bring in a really cool game and then a really absolutely insane, like, how did this get made? Like, half digitized, half graphical fighting games and things like that. But watching them like figure out the moves, and they would talk about why these games are bad or what's good about them, like the different move sets and stuff, was a really fun, and it was edutainment for me. And just learning about the different fighting games, like Primal Rage, you're dinosaurs and you're fighting each other. Or if you ever learned that, like Killer Instinct, Tattoo Assassins is something to behold.
Assassins.
My God. I was going to say, I don't know how you don't know about that, but I feel like that's probably something that's more ironically popular in America than anywhere else, because
I don't know Tattoo Assassins.
Shit, people. There is a designated fart move. So there you go. That shows you how classy it is.
See if I can bring this up.
It's not good. There's a bunch of different fighters, and they all look bad. Everything about the game looks bad. Tattoo Assassins.
I will say, do you want to finish your thought, Scotty, before I jump in?
I was just going to say, if you find Tattoo Assassins out in the wild, just check it out. You know, if you can play it for free, if it's on free play or whatever, give it a shot. Just watch some of the holy shit.
I'm currently showing some of the footage. What is going on?
Oh my God.
And other stuff. So, yeah.
Oh, whoa. What is that thing? The ink is only compatible with those certain unusual genetic makeup.
What does this come out for?
Oh my God.
Do you want to describe any part of what you're seeing, Graham?
Right now there's a group of
this has got to
Ku Klux Klan people wearing different colours, and there's a dude who looks like Edward Scissorhands.
What the hell?
With a scary, I don't know, he's got like a
oh my God,
Iron Man sort of moustache thing going on. There's a baby in a diaper standing behind the ninjas again. Okay, I'm going to skip forward to some gameplay. I hope there's some gameplay. No, this is a character select screen with a lady's back, bare back with tattoos on, and you seem to select the tattoo, and that selects the character you want to be. And there's some sort of snake dude versus a girl.
Wow, that looks bad.
Is he called Truck Davis? Is that his name? Truck Davis versus Mayor.
Truck Davis.
And, it's kind of like a Mortal Kombat style.
It's like Mortal Kombat with like the flamboyance of like the mid-90s WWF.
Oh, wow. I mean, even the energy bars look like Mortal Kombat and stuff. This is...
I think it's just like right around the time where it was just Mortal Kombat Mania, so everyone was just jumping on the digitized fighter.
And the background's kind of semi-drawn.
Same energy bar looks like Mortal Kombat. It's just a green bar that turns red as you take damage. So,
come on,
did you guys play the Street Fighter movie game? I think they also had digitized like real actors too.
I feel like I own that, but I've never played it.
I do have that on Saturn.
Wow.
So that's
these are much bigger characters. They're much larger.
Okay, they even did the thing where the character, when they get beaten up, they sort of sway their head and wow.
And no mercy. Wow, like this is unapologetic rip.
Wow, and then all the characters have massive tattoos on.
I will say, all jokes aside, I appreciate that each character has like a stylized logo for their name.
Yeah, it feels like a monster truck rally or something.
The moves are identical to Mortal Kombat.
When Truck wins, he cracks the beer on his forehead. He's basically Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh my god! The uppercuts, the flying, everything is the same. This is ridiculous. I love it.
I love that it says begin rather than fight. Why don't you just look up real quick Tattoo Assassin's fart? Just type that in.
Okay.
Search for that real quick. We'll get to see a taste of quality.
Yeah,
that this game brings to the table.
Okay. I could possibly farts and fatalities. I'm going to actually unmute this so people can actually hear
that's the name of my horse.
Oh my goodness!
Here we go. I apologize. Oh no, it's not there. Damn it! Sorry.
Gotta get YouTube Premium, bro.
I do. I may have to invest just for this show. You know, that's what I'm doing.
Just for this show.
Okay, right.
It should have
quite loud.
Chris for budget. It's just for budget purposes that you need him to pay you.
I want to skip past all this stuff. Oh my god! Wow, why they got? This is not what I came to see. Okay. Oh wait, here we go.
The story. I don't know.
Here we go.
I'll let you. Do you need sound right now? I was going to just read off the list of fighters.
Oh, it's got sound effects.
Read off the list of fighters, though. I'm curious, actually.
Wow.
You got it in front of you.
There's also descriptions for each one if you guys want to hear these. So we'll go through a couple here.
They're doing the farts in slow motion.
Hell yeah, they are.
That's.
Magic.
I lost 5 pounds. Oh my god.
Okay, here are the fighters.
Fatalities, basically.
Probably. Here are the fighters. AC Current, a cyber mercenary who is wanted by his former employers after an industrial espionage double cross. I'm just going to read the names. We don't need these descriptions. Billy Two Moons, Deke K or Deke K. It's spelled Dekek. Derek O'Toole, Hannah Hart, Carla Keller, Koldon the Conqueror, Luke Cord, Maya, Prism, Rena, Takara Takhata, and Truck Davis. So nobody has good names except for Truck Davis.
Truck Davis from Texas.
Oh my
god. Truck Davis is a biker who is the lone survivor after his gang is slaughtered. He seeks to avenge the death of his comrades.
Oh.
I want to know what goes on in like these writing rooms. I'm assuming it's just like one guy at a cubicle. In
Prism is literally a skeleton, like in triangles. So all of this is great. All of this is good. You're welcome.
I weirdly can't stop watching these fatalities. This is.
I will say this to kind of segue into like the discussion about just the concept of like these kinds of games. I think as a kid, for Mortal Kombat specifically, I was a fan of.
Sorry.
I was watching back at Graham's reaction to the fiery blast from her ass that girl did.
Oh no!
Check out the next thing that happens. I laugh at. Oh god.
Wait, so what is the logic though? Like, it's called Tattoo Assassin, so why is a fart attack like a thing? Like, why is that? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it was something along the lines of like Mortal Kombat. They're edgy and known for being edgy because they're violent. We're gonna kick it up a notch, guys.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. This one.
This is
Maybe.
okay. I'm gonna have to stop these videos because this is distracting. But I don't know if anyone saw what I laughed at a second ago. They do something. She does a fatality move, where the person turns into a giant hot dog and runs off the screen. I'm done with the internet, people. This is it.
Oh no!
You can't get better than that.
I think we need a review of this game in the next issue of Megavisions.
Yeah. So what we're saying is, forget Balan Wonderworld this coming week. Graham knows what he's playing now.
Tattoo Assassin.
This might have to be my next "What Did I Just Play" article. I think.
Oh, I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I wonder if there's got to be like a making of, or like, why did you make this game video somewhere? Like, I am fully invested in how this game got made. Now,
I don't know. Were we trying to loop us back in somehow, Marcin, like a good host?
Or a hot dog ran across the screen. Oscar Mayer Wiener. No, I was just gonna say the initial thing that roped me into Mortal Kombat wasn't the fighting. It was more of the mythology and the story. So, like Scotty, for you were mentioning like what's the point of like the fighting games, and like you didn't understand why people enjoy because it's not like an RPG or whatever. I think like the aspects I liked of Mortal Kombat is because they had like this lore and mythos that was more interesting than something from like Street Fighter or Tekken, or King of Fighters or whatever. I just thought they did a really great job with world building, I guess, and then they kind of expanded into mythologies and all that, and that's why I continued to keep playing the Mortal Kombat games. And I didn't appreciate the fighting game genre as it is, and just kind of the world around it until the past 5 years or so, I would say.
Yeah.
Kind of like you. Like I listened to some documentaries. I watched the Killer Instinct documentary they did. I watched like something about the fighting game community in general, and I liked one person's description of it, and that's kind of what appealed to me. Was they treated it like it was like if you're, for example, at Evo, right? You treat it as like it's like an anime fight between two characters. There's like a story arc. Yeah. You have like two people who are fighting each other, right? And then you have this audience, and you're cheering on one individual who's been like, has their own personality and character and whatever, and they're fighting, and there's peaks and valleys, and like I've been to Combo Breaker in Chicago,
woods, yeah,
and yeah, like I get that sense. It's almost like a wrestling show. Like I didn't think I'd be so invested in two people, playing a fighting game on the screen, but like I think the audience and all that just adds to it. And then you also appreciate the fighting mechanics and all that kind of stuff that I pay attention more to in the past 5 years, like I said, than before. So
that is, I mean, that's I would like to, if it's, I'm just going to spit it out. I would like to go to Evo at some point. I would like to go to maybe Combo Breaker or something, because like the amount of the only thing I can compare it to, first of all, it is fucking hard to throw a tournament together. It is not, you're not just standing there calling names and stuff.
Right.
But like the amount of hype that we have in the marathon, like when we're playing like those sports games, or when we're playing like Tokyo Bus Guide, just like everyone is into it, and like the energy of the room, like multiply that by 1,000, and that's Evo. Like watching these guys go at it with each other because they understand the mechanics, and like how this move can be countered by this, and counter picking is a thing, and like it's crazy. Like I think going to PAX and being around friends that understood the mechanics was when things started to click, and I realized like it's not just two characters that are just barely sitting there on one screen. And because I think I mentioned before how when I was over in PAX Seattle with my buddy Anthony, and they were getting ready to release Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and I love dogs, and Amaterasu is in that game, the dog from Akami, and like Anthony's like talking about these different like turtling and the different hit points, the hit block and everything, and where he can do stuff, and he was impressed about this and that and this. And meanwhile, I'm over there like, I like dogs, so it's cool. There's a dog in this game.
Hey, you spoke your truth. You like what you like, and what can you say? I like dogs. There's a dog in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the other thing that I think, like Mortal Kombat, in terms of gameplay mechanics, I don't think it was as intricate as Street Fighter. Maybe that's why it also. I mean, I think the thing that appealed to me again was the mythology, and you know, their games marketed themselves, you know, with the fatalities, right? Like it was very flashy, innovative. Obviously controversial. That was one of the reasons why, if not the main reason why, we got a ratings system in the United States and then everywhere else, was because of Mortal Kombat. And I believe Sega had a big part in that too, if I wasn't mistaken.
I think they
got taken to court
console before Nintendo did or something, or like Nintendo. I don't know if Nintendo even wanted it on their system. Well, Sega got taken to court, Nintendo got taken to court, but you know, for Mortal Kombat, for Night Trap, there were other games I think maybe mentioned, but those were the two big ones that led to the ESRB rating system.
I do remember Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo didn't have blood in it. I think you had to do a cheat code to activate the blood or something. So I remember my friend typing a cheat code to get it or something.
I don't know if they had it on Super Nintendo. I think on Super Nintendo it was just sweat. I don't think you had any option. But I think for the Genesis version of the first game, you had a code to get blood on it.
Right? Yeah, the Genesis game I think had blood by default. I think it was Mortal Kombat 2 that you could put in a code for blood in the SNES version. I'm not 100% sure, but. And Happy Dude does mention in the chat they had a rating system before the ESRB. Yeah, Sega did. They created their own thing where it was like MA as mature audiences or something like that instead of, or maybe I forget. But you're right. There was a rating system that Sega tried to do before the ESRB was there. But Mortal Kombat was one of the main reasons for it, though. Even though there were way bloodier games before Mortal Kombat, also made by Midway, though, which again. Check out the Insert Coin documentary because they talk about those, like being over the top with Smash TV and stuff.
Is Insert Coin specifically Midway related, or they just included in there?
No, it's a documentary about Midway. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotta add that to the list. I haven't seen it. Where can I? Is it something I could just buy?
I think it's on Amazon. I remember the only way I could watch it when it first came out was through the Alamo Drafthouse website or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I think it does have I would honestly, like, if I saw it in a store, I would buy it because I would want to watch that again because it's got Ed Boon in there. It's got they just talk about the voiceover, the digitizing of everything, like how they did this in a warehouse and how Midway kind of had internal competitions with each other to make these different games going on, and it's cool. It's a good documentary, and it's more emphasis to how like you can't have a video game documentary. You like this is a specific time in arcades for a specific company, and it covers that much for like an hour and a half or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
So just so you guys know, I don't know if you're aware, I'm actually playing a video which is like the Mortal Kombat games evolution in the background, and there's so many games that I didn't even realize existed, like Mortal Kombat Unchained, which is showing for me right now. Like. Never heard of that.
Yeah, some of them were like slight updates from like a main core entry in the series, like Deadly Alliance and Deception, and then they had I think they might have been like ports for like PSP and that kind of stuff, so they named it like Unchained or whatever. But they're basically just kind of spin-offs or add-ons from like the existing main games. But in terms of like the actual gameplay, Mortal Kombat didn't get super intricate until I would say like Mortal Kombat 9. I think a lot of people criticized the gameplay of Mortal Kombat, that it wasn't Evo or fighting game like maybe they're being snobbish, but they're basically saying like, Street Fighter and those kinds of games were more intricate than Mortal Kombat in terms of gameplay mechanics and all that kind of stuff. And Mortal Kombat didn't take that, that kind of style until, like I said, Mortal Kombat 9 or 10, when they really made the games to be like Evo friendly, competitive type games. And yeah, I mean, but I like the latest of Mortal Kombat 11 is much more closer to something like Street Fighter that, Street Fighter 5 and those games, they changed up their gameplay mechanics completely. Much quicker combos. The original ones, or the ones on like PS2 and those, had very long chain combinations, the juggling and all that. Like I was just never good at that. MK versus EC does not exist. Yes, that was an interesting entry in the franchise. I only played it a little bit, but I was not a fan.
Just one quick factoid for everyone. In fact, I'm going to do a little question for you guys, and in the chat, if you want to throw it out there, as long as you haven't looked at Wikipedia or anything. How many Mortal Kombat games were released in the arcade?
Let's see. I will say there had to
5.
There were 1, 2, and 3. I don't think 4 was ever called 4. Wasn't that Gold or whatever?
No, 4 was called 4. Then they released Gold on Dreamcast, and it was like an expansion of 4. So it had more characters. It was slightly better visuals, but it was about the same, I would say.
I know that it had an arcade release, or I'm just saying that because that's how I played it at PAX East. I'll go with 7.
Wait, which one did you say had an arcade release?
I said maybe 9 did, because that was when it was just called Mortal Kombat again, but that's also me thinking about how I played it at PAX East was on an arcade cab. So I say 7.
Okay.
I think 5.
So Happy Dude in the chat also says 5 as well. Yes, 5, apparently, according to the Wikipedia entry. So they had Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and then Mortal Kombat 4.
Wow.
And yeah, you're right. Mortal Kombat Gold on the Dreamcast was Mortal Kombat 4, but enhanced. I'm doing air quotes for enhanced there.
Oh yeah, I had the right number, but I was thinking that Deadly Alliance was in the arcades, but it was not. That was the first one that was strictly home console.
Interesting. Happy Dude, you win a bitter battery.
Yeah, you win a battery licked by Scotty.
Yeah. There's some between Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance and Mortal Kombat Gold, but they are sort of spin-off ones or remakes. Like they have Mortal Kombat Advance on the GBA and stuff, and Mortal Kombat Special Forces. But yeah,
the arcade in my area, Galloping Ghost, where it's just like a maze of arcade cabinets. They actually have, customized Mortal Kombat arcade cabinets. So they have Mortal Kombat 10 in there. I think they had Mortal Kombat 9 as well. I don't know how they got that. It might be just like a PlayStation in the back of the cabinet, plugged the screen or whatever. But the joysticks and all that stuff works. It was pretty legit.
10 and 11 were released on PC, so maybe there's the PC version in there. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. It just, to me, that's a little bit crazy, simply because this, to me, is at home in the arcade. It's an arcade franchise, but most of the games are not on the arcade. Go figure. Like the majority of the franchise is not an arcade game. Like crazy.
And you're probably in your head also comparing it to Street Fighter, which had Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo 3 HD Strike, Third Strike,
EX.
That's just Capcom's thing, though, too.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Most of these games, there are a few of those games which are like enhanced versions of the previous one, like the Mortal Kombat Trilogy and stuff, and things like that. But it does seem like most of them in the franchise are actually new games and new additions, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Do we want to read some stuff about it that we got, some feedback and stuff?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, let's do it.
In the Discord, Virtua Drew said, "Oh my God, I just realized Bridget Wilson is in both Billy Madison and Mortal Kombat. So she played Sonya and the elementary school teacher love interest for Adam Sandler and Billy Madison."
Yep. She's awesome.
That's pretty great. So when she's not educating and molding young minds, she's fighting in an alternate dimension.
Yeah. Trying to save the Earth.
Recently? I don't know if she's done anything recently.
I was about to say, I don't think I've seen her in anything else other than those 2 movies. I can't really think of it.
She left in the 90s, I guess.
And Baron Von Powell replied saying, "That's hilarious. I remember freaking out when I made the connection. I did not until Virtua Drew said something, but that's
really?
pretty hilarious to me. So I just didn't think about it." And then Happy Dude says in the Discord, "My first Mortal Kombat memory was when I was 15, and I would always go over to my mom's place every other weekend, and she had a bowling alley across the street from her apartment complex. I would always take a roll of quarters that my dad would give me for allowance and hit the arcade with my mom. As she was playing the Street Fighter pinball game, I would always be at the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 machine. It triggered my love for the franchise, as years later, I will drop a quarter in the Ultimate Mortal Kombat K machine every chance I get." Mortal Kombat.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a heartwarming story.
Oh,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Bridget Wilson's actually been in a few things that I do know of. So her first role was actually in Last Action Hero. I'd forgotten about that. She plays Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter in that.
I remember her more in that movie. I think it was called Sweet Evil or something besides Billy Madison. It's like some weird horror movie. She was like some kind of... was she like a killer girlfriend or something? Something like that.
That's not
Evil.
It's not appearing on the list of this.
That's what we'll call the segment that Graham and I just had, tasting things. Sweet Evil.
Man, maybe I'm mistaking the name of the movie.
I don't know.
No, it is called Sweet Evil. Psychopathic surrogate mother. That's what she was playing.
Oh,
cool.
That's not in the list of. Anyway, never mind. But she's in quite a few things. Last thing she did was in 2008, which is called Phantom Punch.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so
I will say
like
I do like her better as a
movie.
Sonya Blade than I think her name was Sandra Hess in Annihilation. I thought the first Sonya Blade was much better.
Didn't they just bring? I don't know. I can't imagine that other than Raiden being played as by the Highlander. I can't imagine that those actors were demanding higher incomes for Annihilation. But what do I know?
Maybe.
What do I know?
Oh, sorry.
They just read the script.
Breaking news.
So apparently she's also in Mortal Kombat 11. She is.
Oh, yeah.
She's the classic MK movie skin pack DLC.
Yeah.
So they've got her voiceover and likeness used from the live action movie in the game.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
they did that for
brilliant.
Mortal Kombat, or for Raiden, her and Johnny Cage, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if Liu Kang was in there too, but yeah, they have a MK movie skin pack just from the first movie.
I love that. They in the remake of Resident Evil 2, you can totally play as the blocky PS1 versions of Claire and Leon, like throughout the whole game. So it makes the cutscenes amazing.
Oh,
I played that. That was great too.
Wow, I love it. Actually, in fact, sorry. Talking about Sonya, do we want to share your little thing there, Marcin?
Huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to bring it on. Here we go.
There was this convention called Mortal Kombat Con in my area in Rosemont, and basically what they had was they got all the almost every person who portrayed a digitized Mortal Kombat character in this convention. Now I say convention lightly because it was essentially like a small ballroom, and they had tables around everywhere. And that's where all the actors who portrayed all the Mortal Kombat characters would sit, and then you can literally just go up to them. They had, printed out images of their characters, and then they would sign it. Like, you don't have to pay. You paid 1 fee to get in, but once you got in there, all of them would just sit there and would sign it. So you can see on that picture, that's like what one of the images looked like. She was very nice. She actually has twins herself, so you could see that's my brother right there with myself. And yeah, she was very nice. And I forgot she was a Playboy model as well.
Oh wow, okay.
And yeah, so she was in Mortal Kombat 3's version of Sonya Blade. She was also, I didn't know, Mortal Kombat 4 as well. And she did the voiceover for Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat 4. And she was also in the Mortal Kombat Live Tour, which was a thing that existed.
If the Ninja Turtles can do it, so can Mortal Kombat.
Hey, yeah, they were jumping on that train, but it did not look as pretty. If you guys were curious, I created a news article about that cover that this one particular band did of Techno Syndrome, which is a Mortal Kombat theme song with Gilbert Gottfried, and I did a brief detour about that song being used in a Mortal Kombat Live Tour commercials.
Oh wow!
And I also linked to an interview they did. It was like a guy playing Shang Tsung, and the news anchor is basically asking him about like, oh well, so this is obviously you're appealing to kids. What do you think kids can learn from like a violent game like Mortal Kombat? And he was like really stuttering, and it was kind of cringy how he was trying to like explain like how Mortal Kombat was appealing to kids.
Oh,
he was basically like, you could do anything you want. You can achieve whatever you like. It was just, he was very like kind of stuttering over himself.
that's too bad.
It's hyperlinked in the actual article down there somewhere.
I'm actually showing it on the screen right now, so we can.
Yeah, that image in the middle was right. Like they had multiple people in that cast portraying certain characters. I think that was a specific version. That Sonya Blade that's in the middle, I think that is her, Carrie Hoskins.
Wow.
But yeah, she doesn't age. She looks fantastic. She actually recreated her Sonya outfit and look this past year, and she's like 51, I think, or something like that.
Really?
Like she's insane. Yeah, she still maintains her fitness, so to speak.
So how long ago was that picture? The picture taken?
This one in the middle, or that one's 2017.
Wow. Okay, so that's 3 or 4 years.
She's
ago,
like
basically.
What, 46, maybe something like that. 47.
She looks fantastic. Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of the characters who were actually from Mortal Kombat, the first 3, they're all local people in Chicago. A lot of them do like fitness. They own their own gyms. Some of them, you have like a yoga company or something. Some of them were like stunt actors that they still do things in plays and movies and that kind of stuff. So it's really cool to just kind of meet them in person.
Yeah.
I didn't know one of them did Sub-Zero, and he also did Shang Tsung. And you can really tell like that wig looked super cheap on Shang Tsung in one of his autographs. But like it looks good in the game, but like when you actually see them take a picture of him, I'm like, damn,
wow.
it's like that's from like Party Central or something, that wig.
That's fantastic.
But yeah. Good stuff.
Excellent. Wow, there we go. Now that's thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Like it was really cool seeing everyone else. I mean, everyone, like it was like a small convention, I would say, but like it was super. It felt like a community, and like people, cosplaying and just going in around and talking. And they had like the Mortal Kombat arcade cabinets in like the middle. Like it was fairly small. Like there wasn't too much space there, but yeah, I don't know. It was just super nice, and I hope that they do it again, maybe in a bigger ballroom at least, and when we can start going to conventions again, that'd be great.
Awesome. Cool. I did actually have a question I was going to ask people, and now I've just forgotten what it was. Yeah, I can't actually remember. Sorry. God. Scotty, have you got anything to say? Have you got anything to add?
No, I was going to try to find out where you can purchase a Tattoo Assassins, but because I assumed that was what your question was going to be.
Of course,
that's my question. I am genuine. So, what consoles were those things on? Was it on PlayStation?
I don't know.
Is it like arcade only? That's the thing I got out of this. Tattoo Assassins.
Crap. Yeah, it might have only been released in the arcade, it looks like. Sorry, everybody. 1994 prototype. Data East.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
So, that's what you get when you let your win.
Oh, no. No, just wanted to bring up some more Mortal Kombat footage. There we go. The different Mortal Kombat games.
But yeah, I mean, like these. So for the upcoming movie, I honestly hope that. I guess we can just kind of wrap it up around here. Yeah. So for the Mortal Kombat movie, basically, what I'm hoping for is to have a storyline that is grounded but not so grounded, where they're trying too hard, because I think sometimes. There are some movies that really I don't even know how to put this, that basically make it so grounded it just kind of loses its sense of like what the game or whatever the comic was. So I'm hoping that there's going to be a nice balance between the mysticism and whatever it is they want to do to try and explain, like, icicles coming out of someone's veins or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to explain that, but yeah. And I'm just hoping that it does really well, that we actually see sequels in an actual like universe expand out of it, because, the first Mortal Kombat movie was good. The second one was an abomination. And, I think you can get something, started with this new one, so I'm just crossing my fingers and toes. It's good, and reviews sound good, so here's hoping.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where they take it, and like what sort of, I guess, what story they're going to go with to because from what I can tell from the trailer, it does seem very much like, as you've sort of said a couple of times, it kind of seems like slightly more grounded in reality in a way. But I'd like basically saying what you're saying. That I'd like to see how they are bringing in like the whole concept of these people from the. Actually, I can't remember what's the name of the place that the bad guys come from, like Shang Tsung and people. Is it NetherRealm? Yeah, I was about to say NetherRealm. I couldn't remember.
NetherRealm. There's a couple of realms, but yeah. Outworld. Outworld is the one you're thinking of.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
NetherRealm is like where NetherRealm was like where Scorpion, and it's like their version of like this river Styx.
Hey there, folks. Sadly, at this point in the show, OBS crashed and we actually stopped recording. We lost a few minutes worth of our conversation, but we were starting to wrap things up a little bit, and we did manage to get back online. So here's the last few minutes of the show. Please enjoy. Cheers. Apologies there, folks, but we were pretty much wrapping up anyway. I think we're sort of just talking about what our thoughts are, what we're hoping to see from the new Mortal Kombat movie. Hopefully you got most of that. But yeah, Scotty, Marcin, with any more thoughts to add about the Mortal Kombat movie at all?
Not really.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I just hope that it does really well commercially, and also it appeals to, fans' expectations, or at least meets them, even if it doesn't exceed people's expectations. I just hope it does really well, and it actually builds its own cinematic universe, because I think there's a lot of lore and stuff that they can pull from the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I was going to add, and this is the reason why I think the original Mortal Kombat movie actually holds up pretty well today, is I hope the fight scenes are solid. Because in the original Mortal Kombat movie, the actual way they've been directed and cut together in the cinematography works really well for those fight scenes. It's not chopping and changing all the time. So then the actual actors, they clearly know sort of martial arts and stuff. They were trained in the stage combat or whatever. So it kind of works. Whereas some movies where they try to throw in all this action, it's just kind of just the action's just not very solid, and it sort of chops and changes, use camera effects to make it look good. I don't think that's going to work. I think they need to actually have proper decent fight scenes in it. So that's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed. Because if it doesn't have that,
with this one, I know 100% that the people that they hired were professional, martial artists, fighters, gymnasts, that kind of stuff. So all of them, a lot, if not all the fight scenes are legitimate. So
cool.
like the actors for like Sub-Zero and Scorpion, like those guys are second to none. And for Liu Kang and Sonya Blade and all of them, they're very good at what they do. So I think if there's one thing that I think people will that I've seen in terms of a general consensus is that the action is really good.
Cool.
I don't know about the story. That might be a mixed bag, but like I said, I guess we'll see. And
Nice.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, well, my fingers are that the directors don't screw up those action scenes.
It lives up to your expectations. At least.
I mean, if the part of Sub-Zero punching, I think it was Scorpion, and then freezing his blood, turning it into a blade, and then stabbing himself with his own blood is any indication of how it's going to go. I hope it's solid like that.
Yeah. Or he froze like Jax's arms and then ripped him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. It's going to be cool. So yeah, hopefully we'll all be able to watch it by the next show next week, and we could maybe have a little bit of a discussion around it as well. No spoilers. I don't think we should do spoilers, but we could have a little general consensus discussion.
Fuck it. We can have a warning. You kidding me?
Oh, okay, fine. We might have a spoiler show next week.
Spoiler show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, sissies.
Oh, what was that, Scotty?
I said, deal with it, you sissies.
Oh dear. Okay, cool. Right. So, okay. With that, before we go and raid someone, Marcin, Scotty, have we got any housekeeping to go through at all?
Just be sure to follow us if this is the first time that you are seeing us and you like tattoo assassins and fart attacks and Mortal Kombat. We have more where that came from.
Awesome.
More in the tank, in the bowels, so to speak. And we also have a website, Megavisions Mag, where you can see all our news, check out our merchandise. We have a Patreon as well, patreon.com/Megavisions. And that's it, I guess. So you'll see us next week talking about Mortal Kombat, the movie, and our reactions as well. So
sweet. Cool.
Yeah, if you want to, you can hop in the Discord that I just linked. If you'd like, speaking of farts and farting attacks, you can send in some DMs about your BMs if you want to.
There's actually one quick thing. There's one Mortal Kombat character called Bo Raicho who came out in Deadly Alliance, which is like the 5th game, and he actually does do Drunken Master style, but he also combines it with farts and vomit attacks. So
great, perfect.
Yeah, keep the theme going.
Yeah, I mean, we've got streams just about every day of the week. If you're watching this live, be sure to head over to Scrubverse Podcast later tonight, where they will be doing their podcast. Pretty much a sister podcast to us. And just keep an eye on our Twitters and stuff. Like Marcin said, hop in the Discord there. You'll know what's going on. And check out our YouTube, where Graham just reviewed Mass Destruction. We've got other stuff going on there as well.
Which I just pop the link for that in the chat as well. Mass Destruction review.
So we're going to go ahead and raid Chase Carnison, who's playing Mortal Kombat 11 right now. And so go hang out with them, everybody. Watch them kick the shit out of. So it looks like he's Rambo right now. I'm not sure who's who. There's a big shark person playing as well. I can't tell really, but it's happening.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for listening. And hopefully see you next week and be excellent to each other. Yeah. Actually just realised 2 things I didn't get to say or do today on the show. One is there was actually a genuine reason why I brought up talking about those Mistborn books, other than the fact I'd finished them. Which is that basically after I finished reading the 3rd book of I finished reading the 2nd trilogy, and after I finished reading the 3rd book, I was like, these books would make an amazing video game. Like, that would be so cool. But I didn't say that out loud. I didn't type it or Google it or anything. I just thought about it after finishing that book. And literally 2 days later, was on YouTube. And one of the YouTube recommended videos that popped up for me was Mistborn fan game. And I was like, what? So basically some people are making, there's no official release, but there's people making Mistborn fan games. And one of the other recommended videos was an interview with Brandon Sanderson, the author, and the title was, will there ever be a movie or video game about these books, basically. And I was just like, the internet is in my head somehow. I don't understand, like, how, like, that's never appeared on my my stuff. I've never actually searched on my computer for those books either. I've just bought them from the Kindle store on my Kindle. So I've not even gone onto Amazon to buy them that way. I've done it on my Kindle, which is not connected to this. Like how does that happen?
The Alexa heard you, or whatever wiretap you have in your house.
But that's the thing. I didn't even say out loud. So like my Alexa or my Google couldn't have heard me.
It's implanted in your brain. That's why. When you got your vaccine,
that's what's happening.
On getting it.
Unless I'm saying it in my sleep somehow, this like out loud, like Alexa, will there be a Mistborn game? Oh. Man, so crazy.
Ooh, fight sticks.
Yeah, and also my controversial opinion: my favorite Mortal Kombat game is Mortal Kombat on the Game Gear.
Oh my god! I mean, I haven't played it, so I wouldn't even know.
I don't know what I think the reason I love it is just the memories I have of it, and there's also an extra story there, which I actually broke my first Game Gear by playing that too much. Like there's a move where you have to hold down backwards, like the more backwards, and then
was it the first Mortal Kombat? Or
the very first Mortal Kombat. Very first Mortal Kombat
on Game Gear.
I loved it.
What did that even look like?
Oh, it looked really good back in the day. It was amazing. But they didn't have Kano. Kano was a missing character from it because they couldn't fit him on the character select screen. So they just chopped him off because he's the least favorite character. But yeah, that was a great game. So much fun. There we go.
Honey, I gotta tell you about this sandwich.